I'm going to show you now how to connect a servo to your circuit. Now, a servo is this little thing. It looks a little bit like a little motor, and it's quite similar to it. But the difference between this and a motor is instead of getting continuous rotations like you would from a motor, this gets very small controlled movements. So instead of spinning like a fan, it will rotate to a set angle and stay there. Now, to connect this to the circuit, we need to look at this end, and this is the connection ports. Now, just like the infrared sensor, you'll notice it has 3 connection points, and just like the infrared sensor, it needs to receive power in order to work. So the middle band there, the red one, that's your positive. That receives the 5 volts, just like the right leg did on the infrared sensor. The brown one on the outside, that's the ground. That's for the electricity to pass back to complete the circuit. And the orange one, just like on the infrared sensor, that one is the communication channel where it gets information from the circuit. So in order to connect this to our circuit, we're going to need 3 jumper wires here. I'm going to connect a black cable for my ground. I'm going to connect a yellow one, just because I don't have a red one, for the 5-volt line. And I'm going to connect a white one, just because it's a different color, onto the information cable. So I'm just going to connect that now. Now, all 3 of these wires now need to plug into the breadboard. And the 5-volt line, I'm going to connect to the same line as the middle leg of the infrared sensor. The black line, I'm going to connect to the same line as the right leg. Oh, that's the wrong way around. Good job, I've spotted that. Okay, so the yellow one is going to go to the 5-volt line. The black one is going to go to the ground line. So it's now drawing its power from that Arduino circuit in the exact same way as the infrared sensor is, with the ground and the 5-volt line being connected. The information that it takes from the circuit, from the Arduino, is going to get from digital pin 9. So I'm just going to connect that onto that. Okay, so when it's done, it should look something like that. Okay, now let's test this out and see if it works. So I'm going to go now back to my Arduino. I'm going to open up the infrared control servo file. And I'm going to need to make a couple of little changes. First of all, I need to make sure the infrared pin is on 2, which it is. I need to make sure that the servo is attached to pin 9, which it is. And then there's going to be 2 other pieces of information that I need to just change on here. So what this program says is it's going to start up the receiver, and it's going to be checking the receiver, and if this code is received, then it's going to move the servo a bit, and then if it receives this code, it's going to change the servo to a different position. Okay, so what I need to do now is I need to put in the codes that I got from my remote control earlier. So if I pull up this file, you can see I've done all of my work. I've got a photograph of my remote control, and I've mapped out what the code comes from each of my buttons. So I'm going to use button, let's say button 0 and 1. Okay, so if I go down to 0, and if I copy that code, and if I just paste it in over the top of that, okay, well, I think I've already those. And then if I take button 1, and if I copy that code, and if I paste that into there, and then if I update on here 0 and 1, so I know which buttons I'm looking to press on my remote control, I'm now ready to upload that onto my Arduino. Okay, now then, it should be, once that's all done uploading, if I now press 0, okay, you might not, did you catch that? It moved, and if I press 1, it moves in a different way. Now it's a bit hard to spot at the moment, so if I just take that little head, if I take the head and clip it onto it, there we go. Let's try it now. So 0 and 1. 0, 1. So I've got two different positions I can get this servo to move to based on the two remote buttons that I press.